يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، فاتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن خير الحديث كتاب الله تعالى، وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. Thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has made it possible for us to reconvene today after a while to continue to read the book, which is a compilation of the narrations of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam by Imam Nawawi alayhi rahmatullah. In it, the Imam combined or compiled 40 narrations, 42 specifically, 42 ahadith, each of which is like had been read to us in the Muqaddimah. And regarding some of them, each of them is a pillar from the pillars of knowledge as far as Islam is concerned. Each of those hadith. For example, the first hadith has to do with all actions, and it is connected to the acceptance or the rejection of the action. And that is the first hadith, the hadith of Amir al-Mu'minin Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu, the hadith of intention, wherein the Prophet said alayhi salatu wasalam that innamal a'malu binniyat. So this hadith is very important. It has to do with everything the Muslim does. So the same applies to every hadith in this book. Today, inshallah, we'll be reading the hadith of Shaddad ibn Aus al-Ansari radiyallahu anhuma, and that is the 17th hadith in this book. In it, Al-Imam Nawawi said alayhi rahmatullah that an Ya'la an Abi Ya'la Shaddad ibn Aus أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم قال إن الله كتب الإحسان على كل شيء، فإذا قتلتم فأحسنوا القتلة، وإذا ذبحتم فأحسنوا الذبحة، وليحد أحدكم شفرته فليرح ذبيحته. The Prophet said عليه الصلاة والسلام that إن الله كتب على كل شيء، كتب الإحسان على كل شيء. إن الله كتب الإحسان على كل شيء، فإذا قتلتم فأحسنوا القتلة، وإذا ذبحتم فأحسنوا الذبحة، وليحد أحدكم شفرته فليرح ذبيحته. So Imam Nawawi said alayhi rahmatullah that rawahu Muslim. This hadith is from the hadith of the companion radiyallahu anhuma Abu Ya'la Shaddad ibn Aus ibn Thabit al-Ansari radiyallahu anhuma. This companion Shaddad ibn Aus, some of the scholars say that his kunya is Abu Abdurrahman, but many others like Imam Ahmad alayhi rahmatullah, Imam Muslim and others, they say that his kunya is Abu Ya'la. The meaning of a kunya is to, in English they say it is an agnomen, but that means taking a name and appending that name as the son of so and so, like saying the son of so and so, like saying the father of so and so. So Abu Fulan ibn Fulan. So when we hear Abu Abdurrahman, what it means, the father of Abdurrahman. So but the system of naming ourselves like this is referred to as at-takanni, taking kunya. So one can be Abu Abdurrahman, Abu Dhar, Abu, all of that. So, and we have known that in the whole of the ahadith we have read in this book, there is no companion except that he had a kunya. Even when we read the hadith of the two tabi'in, amongst the tabi'un who came to Abdullah ibn Umar to ask about Ma'bad al-Juhani, Al-Imam al-Himyari and his second, the two of them had kuna. They had kunyas. So it is from the sunnah of Islam that somebody has a kunya. It is from the sunnah of Islam that somebody has a kunya, and that the Muslims are commonly known with kunas. There are books specifically written about the kunas of companions. The companions, their kunas are compiled. One of those who have done that is Al-Imam Nawawiy alayhi rahmatullah, and before him Imam Muslim. They had compilation of kunas. So if people compile books about the kunyas of companions, the kunyas of tabi'un, the kunya, it means the normal thing, the common thing in the ummah, that people had kunas. So but the issue is, if you want to take the kuna from the children, from the names of your children, you would have to take that with your first child. So if you have a child whose name is Abdurrahman, you have another child whose name is Abdullah, you can't be Abu Abdullah if you have a first child whose name is Abdurrahman, except if you had been Abu Abdurrahman before Abu Abdullah, before you gave birth to Abdurrahman, your second child. So that would be being unfair to Abdurrahman if you leave him and then take Abdullah as the appendage that you append to your name when you take a kunya. And that was the case with many other people, like Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal alayhi rahmatullah is Abu Abdullah, but his first child is Salih. Ulama say he had that kunya before he gave birth to his first child Salih. So then in that case not a problem. But if you are Abu Abdurrahman and your first child is Abdullah, and you only took that kunya after you had the child Abdurrahman, you'll be being unfair to Abdurrahman. You leave him and you take Abdullah as your kunya. Except again, if you have a female, her name is Zainab Mathala, but you also want to keep the name also under hijab, as she is under hijab, it's not wrong practically to take kunya by taking the names of women, because there are some of the companions who did that, like Tamim ibn Aus ad-Dari radiyallahu anhu. Tamim ibn Aus ad-Dari, his own kunya is Abu Ruqayya, and he is popularly known for that. In fact, in his hadith we read in this book, he started with that, and Abi Ruqayyata Tamim ibn Aus ad-Dari. So there are companions like that, and there are from the scholars those who took their kunyas, but there are few who took kunyas from females. So if you like to choose what was common amongst them, which was that they took kunya from male names, is better. Now if you like to say, oh no, I don't, since it's not wrong, let me also take a kunya by the name of a female, but at the same time you want to hide the name of your female child, but to keep the name of the female child hidden and unknown is safer and best for us. So if you don't want to take the name of that girl, your first child is a female, as your kunya, then you are not taking any of the names of your male children that comes after her. You will not take any of the names of the children that come after her. So if you want to take a male name, take another male that's not from the names of your children, so that you will not be being unfair to her, because she also has a right in the affair. So some of the scholars say that Shaddad is Abu Abdurrahman, but he is more popularly known with what? Abu Ya'la, because the name of his first child is Ya'la. So Ya'la is his first child. He had about 5 children according to some of the scholars. So one of them is Ya'la. He had Muhammad, he had Al-Munzir. So his father, we said radiyallahu anhuma, because his father Aus ibn Thabit is also from amongst the companions. He was from those who fought in the battle of Badr, and Allah took his life in the battle of Uhud. So his father Aus ibn Thabit, the father of Shaddad, Abu Ya'la, died in the battle of Uhud. He's from amongst those who we expect that they are martyrs, inshallah, from that battle of Uhud. So Abu Ya'la Shaddad ibn Aus ibn Thabit al-Ansari. Shaddad is also from the Ansars, so that's why his name, the word al-Ansari, is appended to it. He's the one who has reported this hadith from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, that anna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam qala, that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam said, inna Allah kataba al-ihsan ala kulli shay. He said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kataba al-ihsan ala kulli shay. If you say inna Allah kataba al-ihsan, that Allah has pre-decreed good or wellness or goodness upon everything, it could be right. It could be right. If you say inna Allah kataba al-ihsan, Allah has prescribed ihsan. If you say inna Allah kataba al-ihsan, Allah has ordained ihsan, it could be right. If you say inna Allah kataba al-ihsan ala kulli shay, that Allah has prescribed, He has ordered that you must be nice to everything. But the second one is that which is right. But the two of them are meanings that could be given if we don't have an evidence to say this is what it means. But here we have evidences, inshallah, to say that inna Allah kataba al-ihsan ala kulli shay. Here in this hadith, it does not mean that Allah, in this hadith does not mean that inna Allah kataba al-ihsan, that inna Allah qaddara al-ihsan. It does not mean that here. It does not mean qadar here. It does not mean preordainment here. Kitaba here, writing here, is referring to prescription, and the two has been used in the Quran. In some places kitaba will refer to qadar, and in some places in the Quran kitaba will refer to us, will be referring to ordering us or prescribing something to us, making something lawful or unlawful, making something obligatory upon us. The first example I would like to quickly use regarding that in this hadith, to say that inna Allah kataba al-ihsan ala kulli shay could mean inna Allah qaddara al-ihsan, that Allah preordained or predecreed that everything we should be nice to everything, or that He prescribed niceness upon everything, goodness upon everything, is what Allah said in the Quran, that kataballahu la aglibanna ana wa rusuli, إِنَّ اللَّهَ قَوِيٌّ عَزِيزٌ. He says, لَا تَجِدُ قَوْمًا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ يُوَادُّونَ مَنْ عَادَ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ وَلَوْ كَانُوا آبَاءَهُمْ أَوْ أَبْنَاءَهُمْ أَوْ إِخْوَانَهُمْ أَوْ عَشِيرَتَهُمْ. He says, أُولَٰئِكَ كَتَبَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمُ الْإِيمَانَ. He says, these people, كَتَبَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمُ الْإِيمَانَ. In their hearts, Allah has inscribed Iman. But where we are going to is a verse that comes after that. That كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَأَغْلِبَنَّ أَنَا وَرُسُلِي. That Allah has pre-decreed, Allah has preordained that surely it is Him and His Messenger that will come victorious. So كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَأَغْلِبَنَّ أَنَا وَرُسُلِي is talking about preordainment. These people also is also talking about preordainment. أُولَٰئِكَ كَتَبَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ الْإِيمَانِ is also talking about preordainment. Allah has preordained Iman in the hearts of these people. So Kitaba could refer to as preordainment. مَا أَصَابَ مِن مُصِيبَةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا فِي كِتَابٍ مِّن قَبْلِ أَنَّ. This Kitaba is also talking about preordainment. So writing could be referring to preordainment in the Quran. So how do we know? We know that in the context that the word appears. It makes us know here it is talking about preordainment. And in other places it will be talking about prescription. It says, Inna salata kanat ala al-mu'minina kitaban mawquta. It says, certainly the salah is something that is prescribed at fixed hours for the Muslims. Its hours are fixed. The salat is prescribed at fixed hours. So here the salah or the kitaba here, kitaba mawquta, is referring to what? Prescription, order. So also the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used this word so much when he was talking about Salatul Tarawih. He performed it some days and he did not come out on the day that followed. The people went to him. What did he say? He says, Khashitu an yuktaba alaykum. This hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim. He says, alayhi salatu wasalam, Khashitu an yuktaba alaykum. I am afraid, I fear that it becomes written for you, that it becomes prescribed for you, ordained for you as an obligation. So kitaba could refer to as pre-decree, and kitaba could come for being ordered, prescription to do something by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So which one is he talking about here? Here we say it is talking about prescription. How do we know that it is talking about prescription? We say because of the example he gave to us, alayhi salatu wassalam. He says, فَإِذَا قَتَلْتُمْ فَأَحْسِنُوا الْقِتْلَةَ. So when you kill well. So he's talking about what? Prescription. That the prescription as far as killing something is that it is, the killing is done well. So وَإِذَا ذَبَحْتُمْ فَأَحْسِنُوا الذِّبْحَةَ. When you slaughter, make sure you slaughter. It means إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَتَبَ الْإِحْسَانَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. That is prescribed. Allah has prescribed that upon everything, all of us, the Muslim, we must show goodness to everything. So Allah has prescribed. If you translate and say Allah has preordained, you are wrong. And what shows that you are wrong is in this hadith. So we say Inna Allah kataba al-ihsana ala kulli shay. Allah has prescribed. Allah has prescribed al-ihsan upon everything. So, and this ihsan that he has prescribed is the same thing that he said to us, subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsan. The same thing. So this verse is a shahid for this part of the hadith. Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsan. Allah orders. What does he order? Al-adl, fairness, and what? Al-ihsan, being nice, being good. Allah orders it. So this hadith is also saying what this verse is saying, or vice versa. Elsewhere Allah says, وَأَحْسِنُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Be nice to people. Be nice to everything. So وَأَحْسِنُوا, it does not restrict you to people. So وَأَحْسِنُوا means to everything. If you ask what is the evidence, we say إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَتَبَ الْإِحْسَانَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. So Allah has written, Allah has ordered that the ihsan in his وَأَحْسِنُوا. This is why some of the scholars say that when Jibreel alayhi salam was asking the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam فَأَخْبِرْنِي عَنِ الْإِحْسَانِ, they say it is because ihsan is in a lot of verses in the Quran. So what does that ihsan mean? That was why Jibreel was asking. Because he said أَخْبِرْنِي عَنِ الْإِحْسَانِ, an ihsan that we know. Alif wa lam lil ahad. We know that ihsan. So then what is it? Tell me about it. Ihsan, we have been wa ahsinu inna Allah kataba al-ihsan ala kulli shay wa ahsinu inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsan. What is that ihsan? So he asked, alayhi salatu wasalam, he asked the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, akhbirni an al-ihsan, tell me about that ihsan. So when the Prophet said alayhi salatu wasalam to him that an ta'budallaha ka'annaka tarah فَإِنْ لَمْ تَكُنْ تَرَاهُ فَإِنَّهُ يَرَاكَ, that ihsan is أَنْ تَعْبُدَ اللَّهَ كَأَنَّكَ تَرَاهُ فَإِنْ لَمْ تَكُنْ تَرَاهُ فَإِنَّهُ يَرَاكَ, that you serve Allah, you give devotion to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, كَأَنَّكَ تَرَاهُ, as you see Allah. This is the first level of ihsan with respect to Allah, because this hadith and that hadith makes us understand that there are two kinds of ihsan depending on to whom that ihsan is directed. This hadith makes us understand that the hadith we are reading today, that inna Allah kataba al-ihsan ala kulli shay, is talking about between we creatures. But the response that the Prophet gave to Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam is with respect to ihsan as far as Allah is concerned. Ihsan as far as Allah is concerned, and ta'bud Allah ka'annaka tarah fa'in lam takun tarahu fa'innahu yarak, that you serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as if you see him. Fa'in lam takun tarah, and because you don't see him, since you don't see him, fa'innahu yarak, he sees you. So two levels. Either you serve him as if you are seeing him, or you serve him as if, okay, you are not seeing him, but he's seeing you. But the first level is better and greater in level than the second one. To serve Allah as if you see him is the best. Is the best form of ihsan with respect to Allah. So, but the hadith, this hadith we are reading is talking about ihsan with respect to creatures. So ulama say, it means there are two forms of ihsan. In terms of who is this ihsan directed to? So we say ihsan as far as Allah is concerned. That is the way we find the hadith of Jibreel. Ihsan as far as the creatures are concerned, that is the way we find the hadith of who? Shaddad ibn Aus ibn Thabit al-Ansari. So that is the one that Allah has also ordained, that is talking about. But all of it all is contained in these verses. وَأَحْسِنُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْمُرُ بِالْعَدْلِ وَالْإِحْسَانِ. Both ihsan, both kinds of ihsan is contained in these verses of the Quran. But these two hadiths make us understand that there are ihsan in two forms in terms of who is that ihsan directed to. Also, in terms of the ruling, ihsan is also divided into two. وَأَحْسِنُوا, this siga is sigatul amr. And this statement, إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَتَبَ الْإِحْسَانَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ, kitaba is also used by the scholars of usul to indicate something that is obligatory. So when he says kutiba alaykum al-qital, Allah has ordered as a matter of what? Obligation. that we fight jihad. When we are called to come out for jihad. The same thing applies. When it says kutiba alaykum as-siyam, it means that siyam is what? Obligatory on us. So when it says that inna Allah kataba al-ihsana ala kulli shay, what it means that as a matter of obligation, we must be nice to everything. But for ulama say, there are levels of it in terms of whether the ihsan is obligatory or in terms of whether that ihsan is what? Supererogatory. And they differentiate between the two in terms of the ruling of that ihsan. So some ihsan could be obligatory and some making ihsan could be supererogatory, recommended. For example, the ihsan to our parents is obligatory. It says وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ. This ihsan is obligatory. So it's not like ihsan of you meet a brother, you want to be nice to him. Brother, please, can I help you carry this thing? That's supererogatory ihsan. But obligatory ihsan, and that's what? Supererogatory ihsan. So in terms of its ruling, ihsan is also divided into two. That which is obligatory and that which is also what? Supererogatory. One brother saw an old man in Haram. The man is old. He can't walk straight. The man can't walk straight. The old man can't walk standing straight. He has to walk prostrating in the bowing position. So he had some huge amounts of money. If you calculate it, over $500,000 in foreign currency, put it in the man's hand. I'm sure the man won't know what he has collected. Over $5,000. Put it in his hand. So this kind of ihsan, being nice to this old man, in pity, I'm sure, just say the man, say subhanallah. See wrap it. Put it in his hand. This kind of ihsan is what? Tatawwa, is supererogatory. So, inna Allah kataba al-ihsan ala kulli shay, with respect to the ruling that thing gets in terms of directing its son to it. So as long as making ihsan is obligatory, it will be obligatory if the one to whom we are directing the ihsan is that the one directing it to it is what? Obligatory. It will be supererogatory if the ihsan we are directing is what? In itself supererogatory. But in terms of who it is that, to whom is it directed, not in terms of its ruling, ihsan is in two forms. Ihsan directed to Allah, ihsan directed to creatures, we human beings and others. And here could be also the first one, ihsan directed to Allah, is with respect to perfecting our acts of worship. That's why I said an ta'bud Allah ka'annaka tarah. So the way you worship Allah, perfecting ibadah, and ibadah cannot be perfected, or that we can say the perfection of ibadah is in doing two things as far as that ibadah is concerned. Having ikhlas, and that it should have what? Mutaba'ah. That is, it should follow the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is ihsan to Allah that he is talking about. When we act and make acts of worship, there should be ikhlas in it. And then it should be in the way the Prophet had taught. So this is ihsan to Allah. But ihsan to other human beings is in all the forms that we know. So to make us understand it better, the Prophet gave us an example. And that's his way. That's his way. To make things clear to us, he gives example. There are some ahadith we have read here. The Prophet gives us examples to make us understand what he tells us in a single phrase. Inna Allah kataba al-ihsan ala kulli shay. It suffices. Allah has prescribed that you must be nice to everything. Does it not suffice? It suffices. But to make us understand it more, so he says, alayhi salatu wassalam, says, فَإِذَا قَتَلْتُمْ فَأَحْسِنُوا الْقِتْلَةَ. So when you kill, imma someone kills a person, he has to be killed as a matter of qisas. Or someone leaves Islam, because he says alayhi salatu wasalam that man baddala dinahu faqtuluhu. The one who leaves his deen, Islam, kill him. And he had said to us in one of the ahadith we had read in this book that inna Allah, that la yahillu damu mri'in muslimin illa min thalas, min ihda thalas. So the blood of the Muslim is not legal to be taken except in any one of three cases. And the first one he mentioned, alayhi salatu salam, is what? As-sayyib az-zani. And then who? An-nafsu bin-nafsi. And then the second one, at-tariku dinihi al-mufariku lil-jama'ah. So these people, if they are to be killed, فَأَحْسِنُوا الْقِتْلَةَ. That is the connection between the hadith. When you want to kill those people, make the killing to be well. Make the killing to be well. Make it, kill them well. Here, one of the scholars had said that the best way to kill a human being is to cut off his head. He said because that is what Allah talked about that we should do. Because the verse or the hadith that فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ كَتَبَ الْإِحْسَانَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْء also applies to even the kuffar, because they are part of kulli shay. So when you want to even kill a kafir, kill him well. So it says فَضَرْبَ الرِّقَابِ. So cut off their heads. It says فَضْرِبُوهُمْ فَوْقَ الْأَعْنَاقِ. Cut off their heads from their necks. So when you kill, when a person is to be killed, so it is real refutation for all those who say the best way to kill a person is electrocution. Allah says cut off his head. It means to hang the person is also not the best way to kill him. The best way to kill a person is cut off the head. Once you cut off the head, everything will end there. Just pop. And that's why when the Prophet ﷺ was talking about the punishment of the grave, what did he say? He says that for those people who died on the battlefield, that the splash, he uses that the spark. So when they feel just that spark, pam. So one of the scholars had said, because he had told us that we should kill well, he will not say that we should cut off heads if other than it is better than it. But what about those people who are stoned to death? He said, okay, they are stoned to death, they are killed like that to feel that pain for a reason. So we are going to say, aha, it means that if there's a reason to kill people, to kill a person who is due to be killed, he's talking about authority now. We've always said this. A Muslim does not go to the and start killing people. We abuse the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Start killing them. Arbitrarily. No. So if a person has to be killed by authority, found guilty, what it wants to achieve by its killing will determine how it will be killed. Like it happened at the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Imam Nawawiy reported the hadith. Some people from Irana, they came to visit the Prophet ﷺ to accept Islam. And they accepted Islam. At least, he says, فَإِذَا فَعَلُوا عَصَمُوا مِنِّي دِمَاءَهُمْ وَأَمْوَالَهُمْ إِلَّا بِحَقِّ الْإِسْلَامِ. So when they have accepted Islam, he does not need to start finding out about them again. So عَصَمُوا مِنِّي دِمَاءَهُمْ وَأَمْوَالَهُمْ. But they fell ill in Medina, and the Prophet ﷺ told them, should I bring the camels of sadaqah, of zakah, so that you drink from their urine and their milk to get cured?
From your illness, the same effect. So the Prophet ordered those camels to be brought. So they drank the urine of camels. This is evidence that the urine of camels is not from Najasa. If it is from Najasa, he will not tell them to drink it. Because touching Najasa itself is prohibited. It's a sin to touch Najasa. So why will he tell them to drink it? So the urine of camels is pure. This hadith is the evidence. And the milk of camels is pure. This hadith is also evidence. When these people became okay, they wanted to return to their place. The Prophet ﷺ sent someone to go with them. So when they got to the road, they brought this Muslim and they cut off his tongue. They tied him on the sun, on the cross, so to speak. They crucified him. And the news got to the Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet said, I go and look for them. Dispatch a group of soldiers, a dispatch. Go and look for them. So they traced them and got them. And they were ordered to also crucify them, cut off their ears and their nostrils, remove their eyes, and they were there until they died. So that another group of people will not do that to the Muslims. And because that was how they killed like that to punish the one they killed. Because Imam Malik alayhi rahmatullah said, if someone kills someone badly, not because he wants to punish him before he killed him, he just wants to say that's one way of killing him. He says it's not permissible to kill him in other than just cutting off his head. But that if it was that he wanted to look, first of all, punish him and then kill him, then he must be killed like that too. Punishment, and then he attains death in the end. So when there is value, there is excellence, virtue in killing a group of people or a person who is due to be killed in a particular manner, then such people are to be killed in that manner. So that is the case with those who make zina, the married, the adultery, they are to be killed in the way described by the Sharia. And the people who kill badly, to punish the person that they have killed, should be killed badly. One, to punish them too before death, and then to show to others that you don't do that, that this person has done. So, but if it's not regarding a person, maybe an animal, you want to kill a voracious dog. A dog is barking on the street, wants to attack you. You want to kill it well. This hadith applies to it. You want to kill an ant, kill it well. You want to kill a rat, kill it well. Everything you want to kill it well. But kill, فَإِذَا قَتَلْتُمْ فَأَحْسِنُوا الْقِتْلَةَ is employed regarding things that you are not eating that thing. And that's why it has come differently with zabh. So zabh has to do, you not say when you are قتلت الإبل, لا, إذا ذبحت الإبل or something like that. Or sharp. It says فَأَحْسِنُوا الذِّبْحَ. So make sure that the means you employ, الذِّبْحَ is a hay'ah. Fi'ila is used, ulama say it is ismu hay'ah. How you do something. So kill it well. Make the act of killing to be well. If you are killing, if you are slaughtering, make the act of slaughtering to be well. So look at our religion. Nice to everybody and everything. So he ordered us, alayhi salatu wassalam, that inna Allah kataba al-ihsan ala kulli shay. فَإِذَا قَتَلْتُمْ فَأَحْسِنُوا الْقِتْلَةَ وَإِذَا ذَبَحْتُمْ فَأَحْسِنُوا الذِّبْحَةَ. So when you kill well. Kill in a manner that is good. وَإِذَا قَتَلْتُمْ فَإِذَا قَتَلْتُمْ, when you kill. وَإِذَا ذَبَحْتُمْ, and then when you do what? When you slaughter. He says alayhi salatu wassalam, فَأَحْسِنُوا الذِّبْحَةَ. Al-Imam Ibn Hazm al-Andalusi alayhi rahmatullah, He says this hadith is evidence that it is prohibited to kill or to slaughter an animal in a bad manner. So you don't kill a rat badly, and then you don't slaughter a sheep badly. From slaughtering a sheep badly is killing other animals in front of it when you are going to kill it too. You are killing it badly. Or sharpening the knife in front of that animal. The Prophet saw someone doing that. Alayhi salatu wasalam. Saw a man grabbed an animal, put it on the ground, placed his leg on it, and then was sharpening the knife. He said, alayhi salatu wasalam, afala qabla hadha, afala qabla hadha, should it not be before this? That is, should you not sharpen the knife before you bring the animal and face it? So he grabbed the animal, put it on the ground, placed his leg on it. He was sharpening it. Afala qabla hadha, should it not be before the animal is brought? Before you start doing that, the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, aturidu an tumitaha mawtatayn. Aturidu an tumitaha mawtatayn. In another riwayah he said, aturidu an tumitaha mawtat. You want to kill it many times? Aturidu an tumitaha mawtat or mawtatayn. You want to kill it 2 times? You want to kill it before its death? I have seen this happening before. Like that. The animal for 4 days could not stand up because it saw one being killed right in its front. May Allah forgive all those who were there that day. So the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, afala qabla hadha aturidu an tumitaha mawtat. You want to kill it many times before its death. In another narration that is similar to that, someone wanted to kill an animal, and he saw the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was asking, O Messenger of Allah, should I show mercy to this one too? He wants to kill the animal. He was asking the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, should mercy be shown to animals too? And the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, washat in rahimtaha rahimakallah. Washat in rahimtaha rahimakallah. Even the sheep, in rahimtaha, if you show mercy to it, rahimakallah, Allah will show mercy to you. Animal. You know, there are communities where sheep or animals like it are trained. People catch them and suffer them. You catch them, tie them down, start beating with this prohibited in Sharia. In some places, South Nigeria and some places, they put animals into a sack, tie the sack and beat the animal to death in the sack. That's how they kill dogs and cats, those who eat these animals. They kill them with wickedness. They put them in the subhanallah. What kind of humanity do you think these people will they still have their human sense? Put the animal in the sack, tie the sack, put it on the ground, they get a pistol, or is it called a mortar? They beat the animal to death, subhanallah. And he said alayhi salatu wasalam, washat in rahimtaha rahimakallah. They forgot that for a dog, a woman became from the people of Al-Jannah. An adulterous woman. From an animal, a dog. And the same thing for another man. He was thirsty, severely thirsty. So he went into the well to get water for himself. When he came out, he saw the dog also thirsty. He said, oh, this dog is feeling what I just felt. So he went and put his leg into it and brought some water out. And the dog had opportunity to get some water. He was forgiven for that. He was forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he said alayhi salatu wasalam, وَالشَّاعَةِ إِنْ رَحِمْتَهَا رَحِمَكَ اللَّهُ. The Imam al-Bukhari reported that hadith in his book Al-Adab al-Mufrad. Also in a hadith that is similar to that, the Prophet said alayhi salatu wasalam, اتقوا الله في هذه البهائم المعجمة. Fear Allah regarding these al-bahahim al-mu'jama, these animals, these livestock, these bahahim, the animals that move on the ground on their feet, al-mu'jama, that are not able to speak. Can they speak? They can't speak. So he says, fear Allah regarding them. Alayhi salatu wasalam. He says, فَارْكَبُوهَا صَالِحَةً وَكُلُوهَا صَالِحَةً أو وَكِلُوهَا صَالِحَةً. He says, فَارْكَبُوهَا صَالِحَةً. When you ride them well. That is, be fair to those animals. Fear Allah when you are upon those animals. وَكُلُوهَا. When you feed them well. صَالِحَةً. Or wakiluha. When you load them well. Be fair and you're loading the animals with things they can't carry. When you load them, be careful. Fear Allah. Why? Inna Allah kataba al-ihsan ala kulli shay. One day someone, this hadith, ittaqullaha fi hadhihi al-baha'im al-mu'jama, it has a qissa. The Prophet came from his masjid, alayhi salatu wasalam, and he saw an animal loaded to the brim, standing outside in the morning. He came in the evening, saw the animal again. So he was asking, who has this animal? You load it and you didn't leave it, you leave it there. So he says, ittaqullaha fi hadhihi al-baha'im al-mu'jama. Fear Allah regarding these animals that are not able to speak. فَارْكَبُوهَا صَالِحَةً وَكِلُوهَا صَالِحَةً. When you ride them, be nice to them. And then when you do what? When you feed them or when you load them. What is reported in the hadith is وَكُلُوهَا. But some of the ulama say no, the right word is وَكِلُوهَا. And they mention some of the things. You can read this in the first volume of Silsilatul Sahihah. It says wakiluha salihatan. When you meet them, fear Allah regarding them. So the same thing when you want to kill them. فَإِذَا قَتَلْتُمْ فَأَحْسِنُوا الْقِتْلَةَ وَإِذَا ذَبَحْتُمْ فَأَحْسِنُوا الذِّبْحَةَ. And then he said alayhi salatu wassalam, وَلْيُحِدَّ أَحَدُكُمْ شَفْرَتَهُ وَلْيُحِدَّ أَحَدُكُمْ شَفْرَتَهُ. Let each and every one of you sharpen his blade. Sharpen his blade, don't forget, don't sharpen it in front of the animal you want to kill. Sharpen his blade, don't do that. Make sure you sharpen the blade properly. وَلْيُحِدَّ. This damul amr is there. It means it is obligatory. It says, وَلْيُحِدَّ أَحَدُكُمْ شَفْرَتَهُ. Let each and everyone who wants to slaughter sharpen that by which he wants to slaughter. Sharpen it properly. It says, فَلْيُرِحْ ذَبِيحَتَهُ. So let what you are killing have a sense of ease. Make things easy for what you are killing. Zabih, fa'il, what you are killing. Make it have a sense of ease. فَلْيُرِحْ ذَبِيحَتَهُ. What he is killing, let it have a sense of ease. So when he says yassiru wala tu'assiru, there is no restriction to it. So making things easy. So make things easy even for the animals. In a similar report by Anas bin Malik radiyallahu anhu, he said that the Prophet said alayhi salatu wasalam, إِذَا حَكَمْتُمْ فَعْدِلُوا. When you judge, you have opportunity to adjudicate amongst the people, or you are a judge assigned. It says فَعْدِلُوا, be fair. And then he says, وَإِذَا قَتَلْتُمْ, when you kill something, he says, فَأَحْسِنُوا, kill it well. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ مُحْسِنٌ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ, because Allah is good. Allah is favoring to people. He gives favors. He's merciful. So يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ, He likes those who are good to people. So this is from the evidence that Allah is Al-Muhsin, because He says فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ مُحْسِنٌ, like He said إِنَّ اللَّهَ طَيِّبٌ. So we say At-Tayyib is from the names of Allah. So here too we say Al-Muhsin is from the names of Allah. This hadith is evidence. It says فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ مُحْسِنٌ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. It says إِنَّ اللَّهَ طَيِّبٌ لَا يَقْبَلُ إِلَّا طَيِّبًا. So here he says إِنَّ اللَّهَ مُحْسِنٌ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And Imam Al-Tabrani has reported the hadith, and it is authentic. So the Prophet said alayhi salatu wassalam that إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَتَبَ الْإِحْسَانَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. Allah has ordered, Allah has prescribed that we be nice to everything, or in respect of everything. فَإِذَا قَتَلْتُمْ فَأَحْسِنُوا الْقِتْلَةَ. So when you kill, make sure that your act of killing is well. Kill well. He says again alayhi salatu wasalam, وَإِذَا ذَبَحْتُمْ فَأَحْسِنُوا الذِّبْحَةَ. Also when you slaughter, make sure you slaughter well. وَلْيُحِدُّ أَحَدُكُمْ شَفْرَتَهُ. Let each and every one of us sharpen his blade or his razor properly. And then he said, فَلْيُرِحْ ذَبِيحَتَهُ. Let your animal you're slaughtering, let it have a sense of what? Ease, sense of relief. The killing itself is not easy, is it? So when you kill well, make things easy for the animal or the person you are killing, as the case may be. You know, there are all different cases. Go. Says Rawahu Muslim. Imam Muslim has reported this hadith. Others too have reported it, like Imam Al-Tabrani and others. Alayhim rahmatullah. And the hadith is authentic without doubts, because it has a lot of support from many other ahadith and verses of the Quran. Like this one, it says, وَإِذَا حَكَمْتُمْ فَأَعْدِلُوا. It says, وَإِذَا قَتَلْتُمْ فَأَحْسِنُوا. This is telling us that إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْمُرُ بِالْعَدْلِ وَالْإِحْسَانِ. Just the verse. We ask Allah to make us from the muhsinin. Inshallah, this is where we stop today. If there are few questions, we can attempt, inshallah. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. وَإِذَا قَتَلْتُمْ فَإِذَا قَتَلْتُمْ فَأَحْسِنُوا الْقِتْلَةَ. In the best form you can kill them. That has to do with perhaps someone who is doing what? Shade. What is that called in English? Hunting. So a hunter, he wants to kill. In the best form he can kill the animal, that is the form he should kill it. Shoot. Yes, shoot it. Shoot it, but in the best form. It even means when you set a trap, don't set a trap that will kill the animal badly. Set one perhaps that will just grab it for you.
They use wire. If you set wire, there's no way we know.
No, I'm not saying you should set a wire. If you set a trap, set it.
Some people use wire.
Okay.
Instead of that trap, and that one can easily sincerely slaughter even the animal.
Badly.
But that wire, even if somebody mistakenly touch the wire, it can even cause somebody. They use wire, no, at times.
So some of those things could be too harsh upon those animals. So we do it in the manner, the easiest manner to catch that thing. When we are saying we want to kill a rat now, kill it well, Or you want to kill, a snake is coming and last summer to attack a person, and he wants to kill it. Will you be looking for this wood? It's not too big. If I hit it once, it should. Before he takes all the decisions, it may be too late. So the easiest way, but have it in your mind that the best way, as easy as it could be, the best way, in the safest. So the easiest, the best, the same. If people have wires that all around it there are thorns all around the wire, and they could use a wire that does not need to have thorns and still achieve the result, they should use the one without thorns. That is the kind of thing we're talking about. The easiest and the less, difficult for the animal. Wa alaikum assalam.
Can you explain the issue of Sayyidina Ali using fire on those people, the Shiite? I don't know the authenticity. I want to confirm the authenticity of that.
It's authentic.
Okay, now using fire on them and using the hadith of the Imam just brought of the how those people punished, the way they punished the Sahaba.
The issue is people like Abdullah ibn Abbas. The hadith is the narration is in Sahih Bukhari. People like Ibn Abbas were not comfortable with that. And they discussed with Ali ibn Abi Talib. But the ulama say the position of Ali radiallahu anhu is to kill them in a way that brings deterrent to the people. Because what made him to do that is that they refer to him as Allah. And that is worse than adultery. So if it is permissible to stone a people to death, it could be permissible to burn them in the fire. So but the companions were not comfortable with that because of the statements of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that Allah alone punishes with fire. In fact, not to punish with fire is a ruling that is mansukh, because he had permitted it, alayhi salatu wasalam. And then he came out and said, I had permitted you to kill the people with the fire. Do not kill them with the fire. Let the one who has the Lord of the fire alone punish with the fire. So it is from the juristic reasoning, so to speak, of Ali ibn Abi Talib, that they are being killed, burnt in the public with the deterrent, so that the people do not refer to him again as Allah. Not only that, they said Jibreel alayhi salam urged to have come to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They should have actually come to Ali ibn Abi Talib. So these are from the reasons why he felt that they should be punished in a way nobody has been punished before. So there are such juristic reasons. Like Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu believes that anyone who is found cohabiting homosexually with another man, the both of them should be thrown from the tallest building, and as they are landing, we should stone them. You know why he got that? Because Allah says, "Ja'alna 'aliyaha safilaha." So okay, put them in the highest places, stone them on the ground, and then pelt stones on them. So these are ijtihadat that they have made. And whether they are right or wrong, they have one reward. If they are right, if they are wrong, they have one reward. If they are wrong, they have one reward. If they are right, they have another reward, two rewards. So it has not done anything to them. Alayhim rahmatullah. Radiyallahu anhu. Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah.
The ayah فَضْرِبُ فَوْقَ الْأَعْنَاقِ in today's warfare, where we don't cut off necks, we shoot and throw bombs, do we start looking for فَوْقَ الْأَعْنَاقِ?
If you can get فَوْقَ الْأَعْنَاقِ, it's the best. If you can't get فَوْقَ الْأَعْنَاقِ, don't forget that al-harbu khida. The war is strategy. So the war will determine what strategy to employ. So if the strategy to employ is use of bombs, we use bombs. If it is use of armor tanks, we use armor tanks. Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Regarding one who tend to slaughter an animal mercilessly, may happen to be referring by someone, will he persist doing so? What should be our actions?
Just advise him, give him Just like the one who wants to shake a girl on the campus and say, madam, it's not correct. Say, no, I don't believe me, I want to shake her. There are people like that. So you persist in making dua for them that Allah changes them. And you also persist upon talking to them. Some cases it is just abandoning them that could solve the problem. So you look at the situation and employ that which is best. That will make him change. So the people, if you abandon them, that is when they will go worse. Don't abandon them. Yes. Hajrul Muslim, its basic rule is what brings the basic and overbearing benefits. If abandoning him will bring the benefit, abandon him. If not abandoning him will bring the benefit, don't abandon him. Alaykum salam.
Whenever I like to eat the animal that is killed other than slaughtering,
it could be killed. Is it allowed to eat an animal that is killed with other than slaughtering? If it is by hunting, as mentioned, that may not be killed in all circumstances by slaughtering. So if it is in that case, in the manners permitted in the Sharia, we can eat them. But if it is in other cases like the way the kuffar kill those animals we have described, if they put a sheep and kill the animal like that, we will not eat it. We will not eat it. Because that is not the way of their religion. When it says وَطَعَامُهُمْ حِلٌّ لَكُمْ, طَعَامُهُمْ, that is their slaughterings, when they slaughter in the way their religion has taught them to slaughter. It is not their religion. It is not Christianity that taught them to do so. Neither did Judaism teach them to do so. So they have not slaughtered those ones in the ways of their religion that they claim. So, and from the animals we are prohibited is animal that falls on the ground. So that will take the ruling of an animal that's thrown on the ground. Alaykum salam.
Maybe this will be an example for the last response. Animal like a snail, it looks difficult to be slaughtered. My first question is, must all eating animals be slaughtered? And animals like snail, the way it is prepared, does it make it?
Okay, what do you do to snails? What do you do to snails? You catch a snail and slaughter it. Snail, what kind of animal is it? Where does it stay most? Is it's amphibian? It stays more in the wet regions. In fact, you don't see it except there's wetness. So its ruling is for water, and everything that's from the water is halal. You can kill it anyhow. He says, أُحِلَّ لَكُمْ صَيْدُ الْبَحْرِ وَطَعَامُهُ مَتَاعًا. Allah says snail is enjoyment for you. مَتَاعًا لَكُمْ. So what the ruling it will take is, where does it stay most? So since the snails stay more in water regions, in wet regions, they are considered from those bahar, water related animals. So it says uhilla lakum. So you don't need to slaughter a snail. The same thing, the crustaceans. You don't need to slaughter them. Then the crustaceans from the crabs, for example. Crab is crustacean, cool? You can't bring a crab now and say, oh, inshallah, bismillah, Allah akbar. La. It is from Saydul Bahr. Wa ta'amuhu is from ta'am. And all of that. Like fishes. The only thing the ulama had prohibited is to cook a fish on the fire or smoke the fish when it has not died. They say that it is contradictory to this hadith. Some scholars have actually mentioned that. When you catch a fish and the fish is not dead, don't put it on the fire. You either kill it by cutting it, or you leave it to die if you have to smoke it. And then you smoke it after it has died. But to catch it alive like that, like the catfish, is it? That is done now. Most of them, you catch them, you can get them alive. You bring it from the pond and you put it on the fire like that. You are also contradicting that hadith, not to kill with the fire. So you either kill it or you allow it to die, then you smoke it. We stop her, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta.